Hi guys, my name is Chloe and I am going to do my December wrap up today. Now, I do pretty much constant vlogs, and so I am not going to talk a whole lot about the books that I've already mentioned in vlogs. I did start my channel on December 14th, and so I will talk a little bit more about the books that I read before December 14th, but then everything after that I'll probably just tell you the title and my rating, and so we can not waste time telling you the exact same thing I've already told you. So the first one, I've got my Goodreads open, so what I'm going to do is just put up pictures because some of these I've unhauled, some of them are just on my shelves, and I'm too lazy to get them all back down, so I will insert pictures. So the first one is How the Grinch Stole Christmas by Louise Guykow, and I rated it 5 stars. It's a really cute short. I think it's written like for middle grade. It's just a novelization of the movie, the Jim Carrey version. So it was really good. It had pictures in it from the movie, and it was really cute, quick, fun, easy. The next one was A Magical Christmas by Heather Graham, and this one I gave 4.5 stars. I thought it was super cute. It was about a family who, the husband and wife just have a rough marriage, and they kind of have gotten lost in the day-to-day things. They've got 2 teenage kids, and they just are having a rough time. There's a lot of resentment, a lot going on, and kind of as a last-ditch effort to save their family, they go to this remote kind of B&B place out in the middle of nowhere, and for this magical Christmas. And it was so fun. It was there's some paranormal stuff. It was a very magical setting and very just Christmassy and wonderful and heartwarming and very good story. I would definitely suggest that for a Christmas read. Then I read The Silent Patient by Alex Michael. I can't even. You guys all know what I'm talking about. So, and I'll insert a picture. I'm not even going to try to say his last name. I should have Googled it, but I didn't. But I gave it 3.5 stars. I thought it was really overhyped. And I went in thinking, like, this is going to be the best thriller of the year, maybe one of the best novels of the year. And it just wasn't that for me. I thought it was okay. 3.5 stars is a pretty good rating. So it was good, not great. That's that. The next one I read was Educated by Tara Westover, and it's really hard for me to rate memoirs because it's somebody's story. Like, how can you say that's good or bad or whatever? I really appreciated how honest she was and how she kind of admitted, like, this is my perception and my memory of this thing. And there were some people who treated her very badly in her family, and she almost gives them, like, the benefit of the doubt, and she's just very generous and not bitter. She's just, I think, as factual as she can be in recounting history. That's what she's doing, and I think it's amazing how she went from nothing to this PhD educated writer. That's awesome. So I really enjoyed that. I gave it 4 stars. Next was Mutts and Mistletoe by Natalie Cox. And I've heard a couple people reading this, more last year, I think, than this year. And I've heard it was kind of cute, and it's got great bones. It's about dogs, Christmas. It's set in the UK. It's a romance. I thought, surely I'm going to really enjoy this, but I just didn't. It was 3 stars, and I said it was like, that's kind of generous to get it 3 stars. I didn't like it at all. I thought the plot was super unrealistic, which, sometimes they're going to be, but I just didn't like it, and I unhauled that. So, definitely if you're looking for a Christmas one, I would say skip it, unless you're like a huge dog lover and really want to hear a lot about dogs and like not a realistic plot line at all. So that's that. Next is The Christmas Note by Donna Van Leer, and this is the 6th in her, I don't know if it's called the Christmas Shoes series. That's the first one, but I love this series. They're little novellas, and they're all very Christmassy, and they all kind of spin off of one another. It's about 2 women. One is a single mom. She has 2 kids, and her husband was in the war and was badly injured. And then the other one, Melissa, she's kind of grouchy, hard, keeps to herself, not very welcoming, and we find out why. And these 2 women start a friendship. They live next to each other. They start a friendship, and they have all sorts of connections they didn't know about, and it's just really fun and interesting and heartwarming, and I just love those stories so much. So that one was a 5-star for me. The next one was It's Not Supposed to Be This Way by Lisa TerKeurst. This is a Christian nonfiction, and it's one that I'm doing with my Bible study group. And we're actually like still not finished with it in Bible study, but we meet every other week, and we've been reading 2 chapters every other week. And with these kind of things, like, I feel like I just need to really dig in and get them done. And so I let it go on a lot longer than I needed to. But basically, it's about, the subtitle is Finding Unexpected Strength When Disappointments Leave You Shattered. So it's about her own story. She is a very famous Christian writer, and her husband has cheated on her. She's got breast cancer. She's definitely been through a lot of different disappointments and hurts. And so this was a really good one. I gave it 4 stars, just about how to deal with life when it doesn't go the way you think it should. So if you're into Christian nonfiction, I would say anything by Lisa TerKeurst is really good, but this one especially was pretty good. The next one I read was Christmas Joy by Nancy Nagel. And this was a 3-star for me. It was cute. It was about a woman, her aunt, I think, falls and breaks her ankle. And so she goes, and she's a high-power business lady, and she has to go help her aunt. And she meets this other guy they nickname him Handy Andy, even though I forget his name. It's nothing like Andy, I don't think. But anyway, and so she helps him, and he helps her, like, because the aunt decorates for this town festival and all that kind of stuff. So, and her name is Joy. And so it was cute. It was my first Nancy Nagel, and I've heard such good things about her. She very much is a Hallmark movie kind of writer, and it was okay. I just thought it was okay. That one, I think I would like to try her again, because this one was not the best. I would have much rather watched the movie. I actually buddy read that with my sister, Alana from Alana Reads, even though she doesn't have a channel anymore, and Ashley from Ashhart's Books. Jeez. And I think, like, I know Alana and I agreed that it would be a much better movie, and I think Ashley did too. I think she maybe liked it a little more than we did. I think we all gave it about 3 stars, and it was a very Christmassy atmosphere, so I would like to see that come to life, but it was okay. The next one was Silver Bells by Luann Rice. If you can tell, I went like kind of hard on the Christmas stuff early, and then I petered out a little bit. But this one I also gave 3 stars. It was good, but for some reason this is another one that took me forever to get through, and I don't know why. It took me 6 days, which for me is kind of a long time. And this one is about a man he's a Canadian Christmas tree farmer, and every December he takes all his trees and goes to New York City. And his son wants to stay in New York City, and they get in a big brawl about it because he doesn't want him to stay, and he ends up running away and staying. And so this man, and now just his daughter, because his wife has died or something, go back, and they meet this woman, and so it's a romance between them, as well as trying to figure out where's his son, what's going on, is he okay, and all of that. So that's that one. I rated it 3 stars. I think it's a 3.93 rating on Goodreads. So I don't know why it took me so long and it was so hard for me to get into, but it was a cute story. I would recommend that one. Then I read The Christmas Light by Donna Van Leer, and that is the 7th in the Christmas Shoes series. I think there's maybe 9 or 10, and so I'm almost done with it. I'll probably finish it next year because I like to read a handful of them a year. This one wasn't my favorite in the series because it followed a lot of characters, and it's about like this Christmas pageant that happens in the town. And I mean, most of the stories, it's like 2 main characters, and then somehow their stories interweave or connect, and they all have connections to people from the past stories. But this one kind of followed that formula, but there were a lot of characters, and so I don't feel like we really got to connect to the 2. I think this one could have been better, like, included as a part of another story, or if, we could have focused more on the 2 characters and less on the whole pageant and the whole town and everything going on. it wasn't a bad book. I still gave it 4 stars. It just didn't fit the Donna Van Leer kind of formula that I am used to and was really wanting from that book. Next is The Perfect Hope, which is by Nora Roberts. It is the third in the In Boonesboro trilogy, and I think I just briefly touched on this in maybe my first video. This trilogy is about 3 brothers who are renovating this inn, and each of them has a different love story. So this one is about the grouchy brother and the innkeeper. And so it was good. All throughout the trilogy, there's a paranormal element that I just didn't really like. I thought it was really cheesy. And in this one, the paranormal element is like at its max. So I thought it was a good ending to the trilogy. I thought it wrapped everything up pretty nice. But that paranormal element was cheesy and silly, and so I gave it 3 stars. Now, the rest I have talked about in more depth, so I'm just going to tell you the title, the author, and my rating. So I read Bitter River by Julia Keller and gave it 3 stars. A Wedding in December by Sarah Morgan, gave it 4 stars. Her Pretty Face by Robin Harding, and this one was for the Thriller Talks After Dark, which is now just Book Talks After Dark, with Shelby Taggart Reads and Kendra Loves Books. I will link both of them down below because that group is so fun. And this month, to talk about that book, it was a pretty small chat, which was fun. The past 2 months, like, they've been thrillers, and I've really liked them, and everybody else is kind of meh about them, except my sister. She liked them a lot too, but that was the case with this one. So next month we're doing a historical romance, which is not my cup of tea normally, so we'll see how that goes, but definitely check them out. Next was 99% Mine by Sally Thorne. That was 3 stars. Then Christmas Under a Cranberry Sky by Holly Martin, and that one was 3.5 stars. What We Saw by Erin Hartzler, that was 4.5 stars, and I read that with Karen from Rotherby Reading, so I will link her down below as well. Next, Dreams of Falling by Karen White, 3.5 stars. The Truth About Stacy by Ann M. Martin, 5 stars. Roman Crazy by Alice Clayton, 3 stars. One Pink Line by Dina Silver, 5 stars. 800 Grapes by Laura Dave, 3.5 stars. More Than You Know by Nan Rossiter, 3.5 stars. Finding Emma by Stina Holmes, 3 stars. Nothing But Trouble by Susan May Warren was 2.5 stars. Next was Fraternized by Rachel Van Dyken, and that was 3 stars. The Storied Life of A.J. Fickery by Gabrielle Zevin, 3.5 stars. And finally was Highly Illogical Behavior by John Corey Whaley, and that was 3.5 stars. So I read 27 books this month. The lowest was 2.5 stars, and I had multiple 5 stars. Some of those 5 stars were like The Grinch and the Babysitter's Club books that are more like nostalgic than actually super quality writing in books, but I loved them nonetheless. And I did a lot of Christmas reading, which was fun. And so now I'm ready for January, and 27 books is pretty good for me for a month. I don't know that I'll get that in January, but we'll see. And that's it. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know, what was your favorite book that you read in December? What was your least favorite? Any standouts, like most surprising, anything like that. So let me know. Hope you have a great day and Happy New Year.